Yeah. Thank you. Thank you so much for taking time out to meet with us. We're getting people rolling in. I was saying to everyone that I've never interviewed anyone who's been in fitness or bodybuilding or things like that. So you'll be the first of 16 or 17 guests that I've interviewed thus far. So very, very excited about that. How are you holding up in all of this COVID situation?
You know, that's a conversation for another time, only because my thought process on it is totally probably very radical.
Okay.
So separate from the narrative that's been pushed into the population that as we see it, especially if you pay attention to mainstream media, you're going to be in a state of, oh my gosh, am I going to die? And me, I'm thriving, doing very well. And it's just like any other thing, you know.
Awesome.
You know, life is meant to be lived, and you know, life comes with risks. So if you don't take those risks, how are you gonna grow, become better, and allow your immune system to strengthen itself?
Right.
You can't sit in a bubble for the rest of your life and expect things to just change on its own. You have to go out there and actively do something. You know what I mean?
That's true. I do believe that to a certain degree. I absolutely agree. From a health consciousness perspective, you know, I know you are very conscious on your health. You're a vegan, right? And you've been one for some time now, since 1998?
Yes,
since you've been born, right? I mean, you were born.
I was raised vegetarian, and then I was vegan in '98.
Okay, all right. So, are you doing anything from a nutritional perspective while we're in this pandemic? Are you just kind of like, it's what it is, and I'm just going to continue to eat like I normally do? Is there any immune boosting type of?
Same thing, brother. I can tell you one thing. I don't even know what the term SICK means, because that hasn't happened to me. I can't tell you how long.
Oh, awesome.
Because, you know, I know it's partly what we consume, what we consume of the mind, and how we live our days. You know, do we go about our day in a state of fear and stress from the beginning?
Right.
You know, that in turn affects your immune system, affects your overall wellness. And so I've been doing it for so long that, just like you said, it is what it is. Keep going.
Yeah. I'm kind of the same way. I've never had the flu. I've only gotten the flu shot a couple of times, and I was like, you know what? I know. But I was like, you know what? I think I'm gonna just hold up on that.
Right.
To your point, I'm like, you know what? I think I've been able to do some things from a health boosting perspective. I do watch what I eat, although I am a foodie and I eat a lot of different things.
Yeah, same.
But you know, I am cognizant of what I do put in my body. So I think that goes a long way. So you've been bodybuilding for how long now?
So I started actually competing in 2009.
Okay.
But, you know, I've been an avid lifter over the years. You know, I started when I was young. You know, following after the bodybuilders of back in the day. You know, the Arnold Schwarzenegger. You know, reading magazines. And what got me into bodybuilding was just wanting to be my own superhero. And so once I got that started, I learned more about bodybuilding. I studied and read. And it took me up until 2009 to say, all right, let me go ahead and do it.
Okay. So how has it changed your views, or has it changed your views about bodybuilding, what your preconceived notion was about bodybuilding, and some of the taboos that you've heard, or some of the myths that you've heard about, you know, beefing up and bulking up, you know, with all type of enhancing type of drugs and things of that nature? How has that opened your eyes to the sport?
You know, I'll be honest, I was a little naive to it in the beginning because I didn't know anything about it. I didn't know how it was used. You know, I thought these guys just worked out really hard, ate a lot of food, and that's how they did it, you know. And then I started hearing about supplements, you know, like your protein powders, your BCAAs, your creatine, all that stuff. And I looked at that as, I don't want to do it that way. I like to eat, you know, hence dinner and dialogue. So I like to eat. So and I didn't want to have to drink stuff and take stuff. I wanted to just eat my way to putting on muscle.
Okay.
And so when I started the actual path of, let's say, I'm going to start competing, I asked one of my colleagues to assist me in that process. And he said to me, you know, you're vegan. And I said, okay, you know, I haven't had any problem now. You know, I don't think it'll be an issue. And it turned out it wasn't, you know, because once I started competing, I was very competitive. You know, I got on stage, and my first time I placed third out of like 9 guys. And I was the only vegan on that stage. And then I just kept going. I kept going because I just wanted to get better for myself, you know, to see if I could do it. And then I got better in the second show, and that just blew up from there. Next thing you know, I'm just doing shows. I'm doing 6, 7 competitions a year.
Okay. Wow. Wow. Now, does your competitions that you select depend on whether it's all natural fitness challenge, or is it all encompassing? So
in the beginning, all I did was the natural shows. You know, quote, quote, natural, because all they're doing is doing a urine test, you know, so, and I found out later on that there's many ways to pass.
Ways around that. Yeah.
But, you know, I did my best. I know for a fact that I'm not doing anything. And most of the guys, I think, wanted to honor being natural because it's kind of more of a thing to say, hey, I have done it without taking anything. You know, I was able to build this muscle. You know, it kind of gives you that sense of, you know, holding yourself accountable, that sense of success. You know, I succeeded to do this on my own without enhancements. And, you know, so all of the shows that I was doing at the time, you were getting a urine test and you were doing a lie detector test. You know, so they're putting you through different ropes and different hoops to get you to show that you are natural. Okay. And I didn't start doing shows that weren't tested until about 2 years ago. 4 years ago. 4 years ago, I started the first, all right, let me step up to that next level, because these guys are going to be at a much more advanced, because there's no testing. So you can use it if you want to or not. It's up to you.
Okay. So you would be considered someone who's naughty.
Yes. Yeah, naughty. It's interesting. Naughty and naughty.
Right. And for those who are out there, it's like, okay, what are they talking about now? Naughty is those athletes that do train and do compete without using any enhancement types of drugs or supplements. Am I right? And that's what I'm saying. That? Okay.
You know, it's so crazy that you say that you know that. I still to this day get people that are 100% sure that I'm using. Really? Yeah. And it just baffles my mind, because I think they truly don't understand that if I was actually doing that, I would probably be 40 pounds heavier. Right.
You know, kind of to that point, is there a plateau that you reach when you don't use? I mean, is it only so big that you're going to stay in one weight class and you're going to be able to,
pretty much.
Go so far?
You can increase muscle, increase definition, things like that. Very minute as you age too, because you know as you age, your muscle mass starts to go on a decline. You know, you can keep going and still look good in your. Like, I met a guy today. I mean, he wasn't natural, but he was 68 years old. He looked like he was 53.
Wow.
And he still was really bulky. You know, that's that Bahamian, you know, in his blood, but he looked good. And so as you continue with it, it keeps you younger and it keeps your muscles looking good. But like you said, unless you're going to enhance, because you're now increasing the muscle protein synthesis, therefore allowing yourself to grow more muscle. Right. But if you're not taking, you're basically going to hit that point, and then that's it.
Have you reached that point yet?
I don't know. You know, I'm still able to put on muscle.
Okay.
So I can't really say that I have or not. You know, I'm not sure. I'm not sure what's the determining factor to say, hey, yeah, that's it.
Yeah. I get it. I'm just curious, because I don't know if it plays with your psyche a bit. You know, just like, you know, I know I'm hitting it hard. You know your body better than anyone. and you've seen the growth and the progression of your growth, and you know about how long it takes to get to a certain size or a certain, physique level. So that's one of the reasons why I asked, just to see if are you feeling like you're closer because it's taking you more time or more effort to get bigger or have more definition, more of a challenge for you.
I think the one thing that does change, because, there's something called repetitive motion injury. So as you start to do a certain motion all the time, repetitive movement, excuse me, you almost get to a point where it's hard to do that movement anymore. Say, for example, squatting. Some people have a problem where your back starts to bother you because of the squatting over time, so they can't go as heavy. So then that changes, because those power movements, are good for generating testosterone, increasing your growth factor, breaking down the challenging the nervous system to make the body say, okay, we got to get stronger. So when those things change, you got to go around those in order to help almost maintain muscle and build more. And I know for myself, in the beginning, I was always formed, biomechanics, movement, making sure I was doing things properly. I was never about weight.
Okay.
I didn't really do deadlifts, things like that. It's not until more recent, once I added in deadlifts and learning how to make sure I'm doing them properly, I have seen muscle gain, increase in size, because I think it was a movement that my body hadn't adapted to. So now that I've put something in there that changed it up, it caused me to increase growth in my back, in certain areas. So I'm still seeing changes in my physique when I change up my training routine. Okay.
And does your diet also play a part in that, on how much of a certain protein that you eat, how you infuse carbohydrates into your program? Is there some levels of complexities that's there when you're trying to balance your proteins and your amino acids, if you will?
It's interesting that you're going in that route, because recently I've made a post about protein being available in the plant-based community, in the plant-based world. Because a lot of times the misconception is that you're not able to get enough protein from fruits and plants and what have you. And so all I did was talk about the recommended daily allowance that has been suggested by, based on a 2,000 calorie eating regimen, right? And it says 56 grams for a male and 46 grams for a female. And there were a few people that, that were like, oh, what are you talking about? You can't do that. That's not enough. The suggested amount is 0.8. So when it comes to that, when I started competing, I never really took into account what my protein was, how much carbohydrates I was taking in, or how much fat I was eating. I honestly was just eating. And so when I felt like I needed to get leaner, I would just decrease my food intake, not even calorie intake, just my food intake.
Okay.
I would just bring it down slower. And instead of eating a big old plate of food, I was eating less. And once I saw the changes happen in my body, that's when I knew, okay, I'm getting to that point where I need to be. Fast forward to now, hiring someone to look at me, because I realized that every good coach has a coach. So I said, let me get someone that can look at me. And so it takes the work out of my head to have someone tell me, okay, this is what we should be doing.
Right.
So what that didn't change, and studying the science and the theoretical science about the body, because everybody's unique. You can apply certain things to certain people that may not help someone else.
Right.
So we started doing more of a higher protein intake. And of course, the carbs are always higher. But as we compete, what changes is carbs start to slowly go down, because that's the first place we take away from when we're looking to decrease our caloric intake.
Yeah.
And the protein stayed the same. And the reason behind all that, the science behind that, was to decrease the amount of muscle wasting and to maintain as much muscle size as we had put on in that time where we were eating not for maintenance, but eating for surplus.
Yeah.
To keep that muscle, because when you're starting to eat less protein, as you're going to more of a deficit, your body starts to look anywhere for energy, and it sometimes can go to the muscle. So in order to offset that, we just ate more protein. So my protein went up a lot. And this time I was actually started to track it and watch it. And I've seen some improvements there.
Okay.
Not to say it's drastic, but I've seen the changes.
Okay. Okay. Speaking of increasing your protein and eating, we are at Dinner and Dialogue. So I was wondering, what do you got over there? What do you have on your plate?
It's really, really quite simple.
Okay. I kept it simple too. Good.
Yeah, I'm one of those guys that I can almost eat the same thing every day. And
like Japanese sweet potatoes?
What'd you say?
Like Japanese sweet potatoes?
I can eat Japanese sweet potatoes like it's going out of style.
I'm the same way.
Unfortunately, I don't have any at this moment. I have some purple potatoes, but I didn't really cook those. So I have a program that I put out on my website called Nourish, which is a vegan, plant-based meal plan per se, but based off of portion sizes, not necessarily macros or things of that nature.
Mm-hmm.
And one of the meals on there is it's called a chickpea, almost like a imitation tuna looking style of sandwich. But this time around, because I wanted to kind of mix in all into one, I took that, exchanged the chickpea for tofu, seasoned tofu.
Okay.
I use Ezekiel bread for the bread, and I have red and yellow bell peppers, which are from my other meal that's called the Ital plate, which is red and yellow bell peppers and orange bell peppers with sweet potato, Japanese sweet potato or just sweet potato, and it's tossed together. So because of my carbohydrate intake being different, I changed it up and I just made it, real simple. It's just, you got the red and orange bell peppers, tofu, and I make a sandwich out of it. But this time I'm going to eat it kind of open face to kind of, get it all together. Get
it all together. Okay.
And you ever heard the poor man's peanut butter and jelly?
Uh-huh.
Kind of like that.
I get it. Now, I'm a fan of Ezekiel bread, but some people think that Ezekiel bread is a bit dry. Now, do you have a certain type of Ezekiel bread that you like?
I like them all.
They have like 3 or 4, yeah.
But what I do with it is, if I'm putting some nice, what do you call it? You ever heard of Earth Balance?
Uh-huh, yep.
Yeah, put Earth Balance on there, nice little, I don't put a serving.
Like a thin layer.
Serving a lot.
Yeah,
so I put way less than a serving, and it's nice and warms it up. Toast it, put that on there. It seeps in. It's good to me. Now, I gotta say, disclaimer, my taste buds is unique. I have,
I can imagine.
People say, Torre, you'll eat anything, especially if it's plant-based. So.
Right. Okay. So I'm going to pull it back just a little bit. Let me tell you what I cooked. It was
just about to ask you.
Very, very simple. Like I said, I had wings earlier today. So I was like, let me see how I'm gonna balance that out. But some people may think this is a balanced out, and some people may not. This is I wanted to do like some soft tacos. So what I did was just very simple, ground turkey, and then I had a layer of guacamole on the bottom, and I had a pineapple salsa and
nice pineapple
tomatoes.
Salsa. I love that.
Yeah, pineapple salsa and tomatoes. So a little islandy, So I just wanted to, in honor of my guest. Exactly. So yeah, I just wanted to do something real simple, put it together. It works. But I wanted to pull back, pro bodybuilding. People are like, well, who is this Torre Washington? Where did he come from? Where's he from? How did he get to where he is? I know a little bit about you, but, a lot of people may not know that, you went to Tuskegee University, you majored in engineering, so you got the brains and the brawn to go with the whole package. So a lot of people didn't know that. I didn't know that. I was like, wow, okay, this guy's is for real, He's serious. So I know you probably take a true analytical look at how you approach your your craft.
Yes.
So that I'm sure. Now, do you miss? Do you ever think about going into corporate America? Dare I say that?
Man, listen, let me tell you. When I first stepped into corporate America,
Mm-hmm.
I automatically knew I didn't want to be there forever.
Okay.
You know, I just walked in, I said, yeah, this is not for me.
Uh-huh.
I didn't really enjoy being tied down to someone else's time
Mm-hmm.
and people watching micromanaging what I was doing.
Yeah.
And being able to you know, I see Tuskegee 4 right there. And when I was able to leave the office certain times to go visit different companies and suppliers, because I was doing quality engineering.
Mm-hmm.
Of course, I love engineering. Because I worked in the automotive industry.
Okay.
And going out and seeing the sun and the fresh air,
Mm-hmm.
I said, man, I wanted to be able to do this when I want to, not because someone is sending me to go do something.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
I started to make those steps towards doing that. I started doing things on the side, started
Mm-hmm.
working with clients. I started building my training regimen, because I started training and working with clients from when I
Mm-hmm.
was like in high school.
Okay.
Which is very interesting, because I had people just ask me, hey, can you train me? Like, what? Okay. And
Right.
they would see results. And so I just continued doing that. And next thing I know, it became a profession. And I didn't know the competitive aspect came only because I went and witnessed someone else competing. One of my good friends from Florida, because I was, living in Alabama at the time, going, working in corporate America.
Yeah.
After going to Tuskegee. And I saw him in Atlanta, Georgia, competing.
Okay.
And he looked like, because truth be told, my whole journey kind of began because I was picked on as a child, moving to Jamaica, living in Jamaica, and having this Alabama country boy accent. And then moving from Jamaica, after living in Jamaica for so many years, going to school, coming back to Florida, and being picked on for having this Jamaican accent. And so all I could think of, all right, I just kind of went in and started looking at superheroes, single mom, single mother raised, had a brother. And that inspired me to start to build my physique. And next thing I know, I saw Arnold Schwarzenegger talking about bodybuilding, and I saw how he looked. And that inspired me to continue to build. And I studied bodybuilding, studied it intensely. And 2008, saw a friend of mine compete. I loved what he looked like, the superheroes that I wanted to emulate, because I was really big with Wolverine and Superman were two of my favorite guys to, emulate or watch.
Right.
They had both different types of personalities. One was that I'll kill you. One was that, please, I'm going to hold back, but I want to take care, whatever. And so once I started, I just enjoyed that process. I love the process of building your body and then showing it off, but for myself, in a sense of, okay, how much can I change? How much can I change? And I started to I love the continuous improvement aspect of it.
Okay. How much farther do you think you want to go? Or how much longer do you think you want to compete at, at the level that you're at? I know, sometimes you just start getting that feeling like, here we go again. I love it, but, this is really taking its toll on me. That corporate America job may not sound so bad. No, I'm just kidding.
Oh, no. No, man. No. Well, because the bodybuilding aspect has truly just become more of a
way of life.
I'm not a hobby, but it's just something I love to do.
Yeah.
It's not necessarily making me dollars because of the competing. Competing is more something I just love to do.
Yes, you do. Okay.
The aspect of finances are way on a whole nother level. That's just helps to increase, I guess, my enjoyment because I enjoy just being able to do it all the time. I never thought that I would, you know, because I've seen people competing at 77 years old in the natural competitive world. I'm like, wow, I don't know if I'll be that guy, but you never know. You
right?
do it, and you're like, huh, I think I still look good, you know.
Yeah. Just never know. Just never know. Speaking
but as far
of
as stepping back, you know, I've had friends that are still in the corporate world. They're like, "Oh, you thinking about coming back?" No.
No.
You know, what I'm earning now is like 3 times as much as I was earning there. So.
Oh wow. No. Okay. Let me pick up a weight. Let me let me get to the area of competing. I've seen people do that. You know, I've seen people kind of like my size or in corporate America doing something different, and they decided that they wanted to compete and train, and they've actually done that. I've seen that from a few people that I know that just said, you know, I'm gonna compete, whether they were a trainer before, and they said, well, I think I'm going to jump into this arena and try competing on the stage. So I've seen some people do very, very well in doing that. So that's awesome. Yeah. That's awesome. You know, you've referenced Arnold Schwarzenegger a few times during this conversation. Who do you think is the Arnold Schwarzenegger? And I have to attribute this question to my brother Ransom. Arnold Schwarzenegger or Ron Coleman of natural bodybuilding. You know, vegan, plant-based bodybuilding. Is it Mr. Venus? I mean, I see his name of
who?
Brian Venus. Couple of times.
You're talking about in the natural world or in the plant-based world, or just natural?
Yeah, natural. Yeah.
Oh, there's a guy in the natural bodybuilding world that probably couldn't be beat. His name was one of the top guys. There's a couple top guys.
Okay.
Doug Miller.
Okay.
Was one. Philip Ricardo, and all these guys. I never got the opportunity to actually compete with them. I think also there was another guy, Ulysses. I forgot his last name, but anyway, Ulysses was another guy.
Yeah.
You know, and Cleveland Thomas, even though there was always some rumors around him, but you know, all these guys, only person I've competed with was Cleveland Thomas.
Okay.
The rest of those guys, you know, were considered natural at the time and they were in their prime. They were some of the best guys up there. And I wasn't able to compete with all of them, like I said, but I wanted to, wish I could have, because it would have been great to see, because I was one of the smaller guys, but I was very complete in my package, you know, even though, you know, I would get up on stage and the judges would say, man, Torre, you look amazing, but we just wish you'd be a little bigger. So maybe you needed some meat. I'm like, no, man.
Yeah, I was wondering if that pressure from, you know, outside influencers try to, you know, get in your head and say, you know, you're almost there. You know, man, you're awesome. But if you did this, you would just like blow it out. But yeah, don't do it. Don't do it.
No.
Don't do it. I know that you mentioned superheroes, you know, a few times in this conversation as well. Would you consider, you know, acting, you know, this whole Marvel DC Comics thing, it's just blowing up and there's always something that's coming out. Would you consider, you know, acting?
You know, it's pretty interesting you asked that question, because I get so many people, sometimes they'll say it on my social media, man, you should be the next blah, blah, whoever. And the irony of it all was that getting the opportunity to work with Thor from Marvel Avengers.
Oh, wow.
Chris Hemsworth, you know, so I'm working with him on his fitness app, which is called Center.
Oh, nice.
I'm one of the expert trainers on there. And when he contacted me, it was kind of like, wow. First, I didn't realize who it was, because I only enjoyed the characters. I never really paid attention to the actors.
The actors, yeah.
You know, so when the actor reached out, I didn't know who it was at first. I had to go almost look it up and ask somebody. And I said, that's Thor. I was like, what? So, you know, I had to go, you know, learn. I met Thor and work with him, and he's a really good guy. So yeah, awesome. You know, it's great to actually be close to that circle of, you know, working with the Avengers or working with any type of Marvel, whatever it may be, you know.
Right.
And interesting enough, I got contacted for a movie role.
Okay.
Which starts filming next year, which is like, well, okay. You
Okay.
never know.
That's awesome. That's awesome. It could be yet another passion that you uncover. I mean, that can take you in a whole nother direction. So
right.
So what is like the ultimate from a fitness perspective that you see for yourself? I mean, do you have like a goal that you said, oh, I want to be #1 IFBB Pro, all natural for the next 3-4 years?
That was definitely the goal. I think one goal was to actually get the IFBB Pro card and I attained that. The other goal was to get qualified to step on the Olympia stage, the big show stage.
Yeah.
Tough. It's a tough, you know, endeavor, especially for someone who's not using, because, you know, you're going up against guys who have been doing it for some time and they're pretty big. Big boys.
Yeah.
You know, so it would be nice. You know, I don't know how much longer I can do it before I say, you know what? Yeah, I just have to be happy with getting that pro card, because that pro card is still on the level of Arnold Schwarzenegger, because that's, you know, IFBB pro card is what he was as well. Ron Coleman, all of those guys.
Right.
So we'll see. You know, you know, I'm glad they created the men's physique division, because the bodybuilding division, I wasn't big enough for that. You really would have had to use, you know, what they call gear in order to get to that size, you know, especially for someone of my stature. You know, some people maybe not as much, some people maybe need more. But I do know one thing, that if, you know, I've always said to myself, like, if I had used, oh my gosh. You'd be talking to me now, be like, yeah, I'm 7-time Mr. Olympia. So
no, if you have been using, I wouldn't be talking to you, because you would be so high up. You would have like 2 million followers. They'd be like, who's this guy at Dinner Dialogue? He has how many followers? Oh yeah, he's too busy. So I'm glad that you're doing well in that regard. Now, is there a co-ed type of bodybuilding competition that goes on where you partner with, you know, a female competitor? Is that something that is done in bodybuilding? I don't know.
It used to be. I think I've heard that it was done in the past. You know, I was never around to see it. But they used to do that, you know, from what I remember. I've talked to people who are, you know, have been in the bodybuilding world for a long time, and they said that, yeah, it used to be a thing. And I was like,
wow.
Pretty cool. You know, so I don't know when they stopped doing that, but yeah, they used to do that.
Okay, cool. Well, that's awesome. So, anything that's coming up for you? You know, I know we're in quarantine, pandemic. What's next for you?
You know, it's interesting. I actually was supposed to be competing.
Oh, really? Was it something that was canceled, or?
Yeah.
Okay.
And it was canceled last week, but I kind of had an idea it would be canceled. So I never bought a ticket to go, didn't register.
Oh, wow.
I said, you know what? It's probably not going to happen. Although they were keeping hope, saying, you know, don't give up yet. We're going to figure it out, and then we'll let you know. I was like, man, you got like 2 weeks. What you know, people need to get their tickets and stuff, you know, to fly to the show.
Right.
And you can't, you know, sometimes last minute tickets are amazing, but then sometimes you're like, whoa, you know, that's a little expensive. And it's in Canada, because I did it last year in Canada.
Okay.
But that was the first of its kind IFBB Pro show that's tested.
Wow. Okay.
So I was excited about it, because the winner gets to go to the Olympia stage.
And is it because they've tested?
No, they're just it's because of the type of show it is.
Okay.
So interesting enough is it would have been, they had just made that qualification. They hadn't done that before, and it didn't matter that it was a natural show. because I think it was also a great opportunity to give people who, you know, you kind of you don't want to exclude everybody. You want you want to include as much, and it's money. You know, if you can get natural guys to compete, even though they'll get to the show and may not have a chance, but at least it's one of those dreams that you say, man, I just finally made it. I can at least say I was on the Olympia stage. Right.
Is there, I always like to ask people this, you know, who are in the sports arena, what is your regimen in getting ready day of? You know, I know that some people like to wear headsets and they listen to, you know, certain types of music. Some people, you know, have a regimen when it comes to eating or sleeping or not sleeping or what have you. Is there a regimen that you have day of show that is pretty commonplace for you?
Not necessarily something, you know, almost quote unquote superstition kind of thing. Because I like music, but I'm not that person that needs music to be motivated, like I'm in the gym or anything of that nature.
Right.
I like it if it's good music on the stage, you know, when I'm about to go to stage, because it kind of gets me pumped. But, you know, my only regimen is really, it's almost like I meditate. You know, kind of get into a state of peace and ease, and just calm, because you're nervous. Everybody gets a little nervous. Yeah. You know, because you're like, all right, here is the opportunity to showcase everything that I worked for, and got to bring my A game, because it's usually 2 times you're on stage. You know, when I say 2 times, the morning there's a prejudging. That's when you usually have to be your best, because the finals is usually just wrap up, tell you who won, and that's it. Right. In the morning is when they have to move you around, compare everyone to determine, okay, where are you going to place? But you don't know until the night. I mean, it could change a little bit based on how you look, but I really just like to rest as much as possible. Put my feet up, lay on my back, stay horizontal, and just chill.
Chi. Just bring your chi. Yes, that's good. We need to bring more peace and more mental stability in where we are today. So I want to thank you, Mr. Washington, for taking your time out to meet with us and talk to us and knowledge drop and have us get to know you a bit better. It's much appreciated. We'll be watching you. So tell everybody how they can get in touch with you. Obviously, they can see what your Instagram handle is, but other handles that you're on?
Yes. Actually, I'm going to kickstart my YouTube more again. Again, because I've created a nice amount of subscribers and videos, but I've kind of slacked off on it because, you know, YouTube is a little difficult. You have to stay on it. But it's Torre Washington Official. That's my YouTube. And I'm on Twitter, Torre W Official, Facebook, Torre Washington. And that's about it. You know, those. And plus, of course, you know, it's the Instagram, Snapchat, and all that, TikTok. I'm on all of them, but I'm more active on my Facebook, Instagram, YouTube, and what have you. Those are the main ones I'm on the most. And my website, TorreWashington.com.
Okay. Awesome. Well, thank you. Thank you again. I appreciate you.
Thank you. I appreciate it, man. Thank you for giving me the opportunity to share my journey and my story with other people.
Absolutely. It's a fascinating journey. And like I said, you have the brains and the brawn. You got the whole package. We're looking forward to great things from you with the whole acting and the film that's coming out next year. So that's exciting. We'll be following you. I'll be in touch.
And before I go, you know, just for your viewers, from thegroundupfilm.com. It's a documentary that I am in. You can watch it now. It's on Amazon Prime. It's on Vudu. It's a great film. It talks about athletes who are able to be very successful on a plant-based lifestyle. And it's really good. It's not a pushy vegan film as, you know, some people watch. But it's a great film. From thegroundupfilm.com, and I'll send it to you so you can check it out.
From thegroundupfilm.com. Yeah, please send it to me. I'll I'll repost it. I'll get it out there. But I'll watch it. There may be something I watch this evening just to see what you're talking about. I'll give you some feedback on that. I'd be like, Torre, why'd you tell people to watch that? This is crap. No, I'm just kidding.
Hey man, I'd rather you be honest than tell me like,
oh, I will. No, but it was great. I appreciate you signing on. I'll be in touch. You're part of the Dinner and Dialogue family now, but you're in an esteemed group. Trust me.
Dude, I think this is such a great concept, you know, and when it came up, I was like, I like that because I love to eat, you know? Yeah. So I think it's a great concept, and I'm glad you started that. So much abundance and prosperity to you, man. Hopefully this continues to grow and becomes really big. Awesome. Thank you. We'll be on the big stage together. No doubt, brother. All right, man. Have a good one. Enjoy the rest of the weekend. Have a great rest of your evening, man. Likewise. You too, bro. Take care. All right, man. Bye.